Welcome to Facts and Rumours. In this episode, Hank talks to several knife makers, designers and content creators. As always, go to knivesfromeurope.com for the full interviews and additional content. But for now, enjoy.
Welcome, Ostap, to this episode of Facts and Rumours of Knives from Europe.
Hello, Hank. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, we are very glad you are a guest in our show. So, how are you doing?
I'm good. Hope you are well too. I'm under lockdown, like almost all of us.
But luckily we have Zoom, so we can still communicate with each other.
And talk about knives a bit.
Talking about knives, exactly. When did this passion start for you?
Well, it was when I was a teenager, like many years ago. It starts from a collection of knives. So I've been a regular user. Then I've decided to create something different to change already existing knives. And after that, I realized that it's easier to design something from the beginning than changing already existing knives to fit my requirements and my needs, and that's how it started.
Yeah, nice. Are you always with your sketchbook on the way?
Yeah, I'm trying to carry it on my everyday carry bag all the time.
Yeah.
Because inspiration can come in any minute, so you have to draw it right away, just don't to forget. And I have few sketchbooks full of sketch and still getting new ones.
You have already brought a lot of beautiful designs onto the market in collaboration with manufacturers, but also a wide range of designs such as kitchen knives, pocket knives, survival knives. What can you tell us about these collaborations and these designs, and what kind of collaborations can we expect in the near future?
Most of those collaborations were made with Chinese companies, with leading Chinese companies like Real Steel, like Bestech, now it's We Knives. So I'm working currently with all of them on new designs in 2020. We are releasing a few more designs like bouquet line from Bestech. You remember a tulip, the small one? It's a first in a line of flower-inspired knives. And we are working on a few more knives with We. You can see them in a SHOT Show 2019, I think. The prototypes were showed there, like a Pier and Moat, and we are still working with the Real Steel about on kitchen knives and new versions of already existing knives like Mini Metamorph, a very popular design, and few more new ideas and fixed and folding knives too.
Hi, Joe. Welcome in this episode of Facts and Rumours of Knives from Europe. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you doing? It's good to see you again. It's been a little while. It's been a couple of years now.
I think it's 2 years. Bladestock was the last time.
Bladestock 2019. So 1 year.
1 year. Yeah. 2019.
Yeah, I was looking forward to coming again this year, but unfortunately, stuff is out of our control and everything got shut down.
Exactly, out of control. Joe, I know you as a knife collector with a lot of passion. Besides collecting knives, you also manage a well-watched YouTube video channel under the name MesserHQ. Where did the passion for knives came from?
Yeah, that's an interesting question, and I don't really have a great answer. All I can say is, I've just carried knives ever since I can remember. I remember just as a little kid going to the flea market every weekend because there was a guy there that would sell me knives, regardless of the fact that I was only 10 or 11 years old. I was really into ballad songs as I was a kid, and I was always flipping. And, I just grew up in an area where we had a lot of land and we had a lot of yard work to do. And myself, my siblings, we just always had knives on us for just working. I moved to Germany in 2010 and I left all my knives in the US. I can't say that I had any great ones. I think I had a couple buck knives or something, but most of my knives at that point were all pretty cheap. And it wasn't until I got to Germany when I decided I wanted to buy a knife here. And I think I got a Spyderco Endura. And man, I just thought that knife was just incredible. I couldn't believe that I spent $65 on a knife. I mean, at the time, it just blew my mind that I spent so much money, on a knife. And of course, I would watch other YouTube reviews on this Spyderco Endura, and I just wanted to, hear from other people that they love this knife as much as I do. And of course, that led to watching other videos and getting interested in other knives. And I mean, it's a slippery slope. Once you start getting into the hobby, you just have this massive love of knives. And recently, I'd say in the past 5 years, I've gotten really into traditional pocket knives, old vintage Swiss Army knives. I think that kind of started it. The flea market by my house is just a gold mine for old traditional pocket knives. And I really love buying these junkers, just for a couple bucks and coming home and getting the sandpaper out and, making them shine again. And I guess that just kind of led into, the collection as it stands right now, and I started the YouTube channel, and I've been doing it, I don't know, I think for almost 5 years now. And for me, it's more of a hobby. A lot of people do YouTube every single day. I try to upload once a week, but for me, YouTube's really been great. I just meet people all around the world. I mean, because of my YouTube channel, I have friends literally all around the world. And it's just really amazing to me. I never thought it would lead me to this point, but I'm really happy it has.
Hi Floris, welcome to this episode of Facts and Rumours from Knives from Europe. How are you?
I'm very good.
Okay, we are thrilled that you are doing an interview with our channel for Knives from Europe. So I think the viewers will appreciate this very much to see you.
Yeah, thank you.
You're relatively young, of course.
I'm 18.
You're 18.
Yes.
But you already kicked it quite a bit in terms of making knives. And for example, you have your own blacksmith shop, and you have your own YouTube channel with over 50,000 followers. Mm-hmm. So please tell our viewers how the passion for knife making started.
Well, when I was very young, I started collecting knives, and every time I bought a knife, my parents were like, haven't you got already enough knives? And then I said no. Yeah, I think we all have the same issue. And then I started to. My dad once he was like, why don't we make our own knife? And then I made my own knife together with my dad. And after that, I just started doing it on my own. I think I didn't make knives for a year then, and then I started doing it on my own, and then it became a hobby. Yeah.
Okay, and probably started with stock removal.
Yeah. Little bit. I started with forging a little bit already because I went to school. It's like a Rudolf Steiner school. It's in Dutch we call it vrije school. It's like the school where you get extra creative lessons. So we also had blacksmithing in school.
Okay.
So I think I was already making knives at home, and I was already experimenting a little bit with forging. Mm-hmm. But when I went to school and I had my first blacksmithing lesson, that's when I really started blacksmithing as well. So I started out doing a little bit of stock removal and then also a little bit of blacksmithing, and yeah.
Okay. And on this, during these classes, you all also learned about tempering a blade?
No. It was like very basic lessons in forging. So it was just my first, I think, my first proper contact with forging metal, forging steel. It wasn't about knives at all. It was just how to shape steel and
Yeah. To move metal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And where did you get your knowledge about specifically knives and tempering?
Yeah, I just went searching on YouTube and watched a whole lot of YouTube videos and started experimenting on my own.
Yeah.
And I just made a whole lot of mistakes, and that's the way I learned. Yeah.
That's the proper way to learn it. Making mistakes. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I see many guys like from my age or younger, and they're really interested and they want to do it good immediately and they want to go to proper class, and of course that helps. But like if you start experimenting on your own and make just a whole lot of mistakes, and you shouldn't be afraid of making these mistakes, because like after each mistake I made, it was a huge improvement, because I knew, okay, I shouldn't do this or I shouldn't do that, or then.
Miguel, welcome in this episode of Facts and Rumours from Knives from Europe. We are glad to have you in our show. How are you?
Hi, Hank. Thank you for your invitation. It is a pleasure and a big honor to be here with you and with all your followers. I'm fine. Thank you. As always, with a lot of work.
Yeah, you are busy. Yeah, making knives. So how long are you a knife maker? Do you still own your first self-made knife?
I am a knife maker for complete time since 2016, when my real work is as a blacksmith. I used to own a workshop, and this workshop burns down with all the machinery and all the materials inside. And then I decided to become a knife maker, a full-time knife maker, to rebuild my life,
And where did your passion for knives come from?
It came from far away, maybe, but I started making knives as a very little hobby for friends and for some hunters here in the area. This is a mountain village, small mountain village with a lot of hunters. And this is how I start with not too many knowns, not too many materials, but with passion for it.
Exactly. Yeah, with passion and a lot of power.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, exactly. Where and how did you learn to forge knives? Because forging knives is different than other blacksmithing work.
Yeah, it's very, very different. As my passion grows along the time, my interest for new materials, for know really how it must be done, increased. So I start to learn. I look at today. Thanks to God, we have internet. And it is easy if you have the interest. It's very easy to find the information, all the aspects of every material that you want to use. So this is how I learned in the beginning. Always searching and always learning from everywhere, books, internet, and this is the way that I start with this. Then I make master. I learn with more interest and something more specifically,
Welcome, Grzegorz, also known as Kombu, to this episode of Facts and Rumours of Knives from Europe. We are very glad that you are doing this interview with Facts and Rumours. You are known, for the viewers, you are known as a designer of knives. When did this passion started?
Hello, everybody. Hello, Hank. Thanks for having me here. And right to the point, actually, this is a really interesting question because I was talking about that with my friend just a few days ago. And it looks like I have designed my first knife at a very young age. I was 8 or 9 years old, young kid. And it was a time when all these Hollywood action movies came to Poland, and every young boy was watching Bruce Lee movies, Commando, RoboCop, Terminator, and my favorite series was Rambo. But instead of, I was watching this again and again and again, but instead of counting how many bad guys did John Rambo kills, I was always waiting for the scenes with his beautiful tactical survival fixed knife with all these gadgets in handle, and that was my first spark. I was blown away by beauty of this knife, and I was 9 years old, and I immediately started to sketching knives. I was sketching all my life different things, but after the Rambo, I started to sketching knives, knives, spears, swords, and stuff like this. And I was very passionate about it. It was very natural for me as a kid. But unfortunately, I was doing it at school during lessons on the last page of my notebooks. And everything was fine until my teacher found out what I'm doing on lessons. And she was so scared. She called my parents. And these days, Poland was very closed-minded country, My parents came to school and they all together decide to not allow me to do these things. And they kind of brainwashed me and told me that knives are bad. I shouldn't think about knives, And they literally bury my inner child and my greatest passion for like 25 years. That's a long time.
Welcome to the interview of Facts and Rumours. Today we have a special guest, Peter Spaltman. Peter is a Dutch knife maker. Peter, welcome to the interview of Facts and Rumours. Glad you're here.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Peter makes a variety of different styles of fixed blades, even straight razors. Peter, you are making knives for how long now?
I have been doing this for 3.5 years now, and start of it actually went a little further back. About 6 or 7 years ago, I went smithing with my family for a day, and we made some knives there, which we later at home, we finished them off. So that's what really got me started, and slowly the urge to do that more often just kept creeping in, and eventually I would turn my shed into a knife making shop, and that's when it all started, and I actually started to produce more knives.
Okay, nice, awesome. So it started with a day out with your family and...
Yeah, just my father and my 2 brothers.
Yeah, nice.
We just went to a local blacksmith and we just hammered out some knives.
Yeah, awesome. And how did you get your knowledge about moving metal, steel? What is your background?
Well, that's actually 2 parts. The first part is obviously these days YouTube, because any knowledge you will need you can find on YouTube. And the second part was a bit more tricky. The second part is what steels do you use, what steels are available to you. So I did some internet research for about 6-7 months, just figuring out how the steels are called, because all the YouTube names you hear is pretty much the American names, but there are 3 types in which steels are given. So I pretty much figured out what type of composition would give you certain specifications for a knife.
Yeah.
And that's what I thought was a really, really important part before I would actually make something I would consider worth selling.
Yeah. So you immediately started forging?
No, I actually started as a stock removal.
Okay.
And that was mostly being done I live in a very densely populated area. And at first I thought that it would be impossible to set up a forge and not being worried about my neighbors complaining about the noise. It was only later that I found that there are actually several tricks that you can use to dampen the noise that comes from your shop. And that's when I slowly started getting into forging.
So it started with stock removal?